In this episode, we're going to be talking about spoilers for the new Project Hail Mary movie and how exactly does the movie compare to the book. I'm Corey Winter, and this is Eat, Sleep, Nerd, a show where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. Joining me here for this spoiler discussion, we got Jason Summer.
A book.
Cynthia Winter, my wife.
What?
And her nerdy friend, Christian James.
I'm still confused.
That one.
I'm so used to throwing things on the ground, I keep forgetting it's a book. So, yes, in this video, we're going to be talking about the spoilery stuff of Project Hail Mary that we just got back from the theaters seeing. We loved it. We gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on the Eat, Sleep, Nerd scale.
You can't round up from a 2. You said 4.2.
It's a 4.5. No, it's a 4.4.
4.425,
right,
rounding it up to
4.25.
5.
You can't.
It's a 4.5. 4.5.
Whatever.
On the Eat, Sleep, Nerd scale. That means we loved it. It's a great movie. We even said as far as how it goes from a book to a movie, it's great. But we're going to be Asterisk. Astrophage.
Nice.
You're right. Okay.
All right. So yes, if you want to check out our spoiler-free review, go check out that video up there. You can also find the link down in the comments below. But if we want to get into some spoilers, so talking about our feelings about the actual details of the story and everything that happened in the movie, and more specifically stuff that happened in the book that maybe didn't happen in the movie, that's what we're talking about here. We're going to be doing a lot of comparisons between the book and the movie and all that fun stuff. Join us along for the ride. We're in for a fun one. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into spoilers. Spoiler warning. If you have not read the book, or if you have not read the movie, or if you have not done either one of those, beware that we're going to be talking about some story stuff for the rest of this video. So, let's get into it. So, what? Did I miss?
You said
Don't worry
if
about
you
it.
haven't read the movie.
Don't worry about it. They know what you
If
meant.
you haven't watched the book.
There you go.
11
Good correction.
light years of spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. So, where do we start?
I was so concerned. Like, one of my biggest questions going into the movie was, I felt like with the way it's written in the book, when he wakes up and he takes days, weeks maybe, to just become functional. Like, and they glossed over it because they had to.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch the very beginning of a movie. They're trying to hook you, and this guy has to lay there and be tube fed for like 3 days and then get out of bed and fall and then get one rung on the ladder. Like, they can't do that in a movie. But they put so much detail into it in the book, and there was so much of the mental aspect of him remembering his name. And then he got up and just started doing complex math.
Yeah, so
It was a little too
I think
fast.
that was probably the biggest demerit for me. I think that's really what brought me down from possibly a 5 to a 4.
Me
Is that
too.
all of that big character development, setting up that situation for how dire the situation was for him. He's an astronaut, apparently, stuck in space with no memory of why he's there or what he's doing. And he has to put the pieces back together for, okay, am I on this mission? Oh, this mission is to save Earth from, dying and saving my human race from, being, dying out.
Like, when he wakes up, he doesn't remember his name.
Yeah. And yeah, aside from just a couple of, like, he was writing a couple of things on the whiteboard, aside from that, it really does not tell you that.
Mm-mm. And yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big miss. Like, that was a big part of, like, that's the back cover of the book.
It's the first like 30 pages of the book is him waking up and having to slowly reintroduce solid food. And
Yeah. The back cover of the book. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except that right now, he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. That is the setup of the book. Did that come across to you at all?
That sort of did take me out because I was thinking to myself when that happened, when he woke up and then all of a sudden he was able to scoot himself away with his arms.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's weird.
Way too fast, right?
Yeah.
They did one thing with that because in the book, like the medication he's being given and the nutrients he's being given preserved his muscles to a point. And I saw at one point on the whiteboard, he wrote something along the lines of, muscles always been this strong?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So like, but that was all they put in there. I do specifically remember in the beginning part of the book, it's like every day he's able to get one more rung on the ladder, because they had the shot where he just looks up and it's so daunting. And in the book, that was true to that scene. And then he just climbed it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I understand they've got to push through. It's a 2.5 hour movie, but I think we could have used a little bit more of, he don't have a clue what's going on.
Like a big aspect of the book was the mystery of it all.
Yeah.
Why is he there and not some trained astronaut? Why is the sun going out? Why? I feel like the mystery was lost.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that the editing in that whole scene kind of takes you out of time a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it was an instantaneous kind of thing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how long he was down there. You know, we saw the struggle with him getting off the table, getting away from the robot, and then the ladders. But then it was like, how long had it been till he got up to that point where he was?
Sure.
We don't know.
I just remembered, there was a big character missing.
The robot arm?
Yes, Armand.
Yeah.
And like they mentioned him like 2 times, but before we meet Rocky, he was the central character. Like from the moment Rylan wakes up and it's like, what's 2 + 2? And he goes, and he's like, incorrect. And then he goes back to sleep. He's back in his coma. And then he wakes up, what's 2 + 2? And it goes on for days. And he starts giving answers and he's figuring out the robot. He's figuring out the technology in the ship before he even gets off the table.
Oh, yeah. And like the robot could bring him coffee.
Yeah, he has like this whole relationship with the robot.
Yeah, the robot really was a big character in the book.
Huge.
But overall, it was not necessary for the plot.
It was.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It would have taken up too much time.
It was a good decision to cut that down, I
Mhm.
think, for the movie.
I agree.
Is that I could definitely see where the importance lied
Mhm.
on the whole thing. And then he went back to Armand a couple of times.
Yeah, he did.
And I think
But I was like, it's probably something that was in the books.
if they had introduced it and like formed that relationship between him and the robot at the beginning, it would have been weird to just drop it when we get Rocky.
Right.
So like, I get it. I like the little nods they put in there by calling him Armando with no backstory.
Yeah.
It was cute, but
Speaking of that same opening, in the beginning, I think before we meet Rocky in the book, a lot of the book is told from him either talking to himself or him just thinking in his head. He is the narrator of the book. And a lot of it is sarcasm and him cracking jokes because he's alone. And so before the movie came out, you were like, how are they going to do that? Because he's the only person there, and that's a big portion of how the story is coming across. And I think having seen it, it would have been too much spoon feeding if they had put that in there.
That's what I was worried about. I didn't know how they would still give us the story and give us that development without spoon feeding it. And instead, they just didn't do it. They did it through the flashbacks, and they did it through the whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it through a couple moments of him going, how do I know how to do that? There were like 2 moments where he was like, am I smart?
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that they didn't spoon feed it. I don't think it was to a fault. I think it was borderline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means it was perfect.
Having read the book, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, well, you were saying that you appreciated it, like you were not spoon fed, and you appreciated that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
It was effective for me to understand his struggle
Okay.
and things like that. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if there was more to it, it'd have been cool to see, but we'd still be in the theater right now.
I would watch 12
Fair.
hours of this movie. If they could get every detail from the book and put it in a movie.
In which, like, if it were to be the other way around, where they shot the struggle and then got to the end, would it be a different movie for you?
No, you're talking about the struggle of getting your
Yeah, like from what you were just talking about, getting his memory back, eventually getting to the mission, and then the end of the movie, the third act was the mission, and it ended. Would it be any different?
I don't know how to.
out
I don't know how to answer it. Yeah.
Because like I want there to be all the details in the book in the movie, but it wouldn't pace well as a movie. That's why it's a book. Read the book. Read the book.
I could have used like a 6-episode miniseries.
So
no.
one of the things, one of the best translated, not translated, adapted screenplays is the Lord of the Rings series.
Sure.
And so many things are different. Like one of the biggest things that I found out was Aragorn is not as humble in the books
Sure.
as he is in the movies. He's ready to be king. He's like, it's my time. So things like that, and there are changes that are made that just work differently for movies. And so I try not to be so critical of those things. Especially, I think we're pushing into the 3.5 hour realm now these days, especially with these overarching movies. Like, I wonder what Doomsday is going to be like. Avengers Doomsday is going to be like.
Yeah.
But I think, the realm, the target is about 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45. And to fit it all in that, I think really good decisions were made with this book and this movie.
Yeah.
So
I do too.
So I'm really not feeling particularly. What?
You called the book a movie.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm not feeling particularly upset about anything really that was missing from the book that's not shown in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit, and if I gloss over anything we want to talk about, we can circle back. Obviously, the plot element of meeting Rocky the alien is, kickstarts the second half of the movie that I could argue is what the movie really is. It's the buddy cop human meeting this alien life form and becoming best buds with him. I think that's really what this movie is. And so let's talk about Rocky and a few things about Rocky. I loved how they introduced a few things in the movie that were not in the book to make it a better adaptation for the movie. For example, in the book, there was no voice for him. Grace just learned to interpret his language without having to use the computer. But to make that easier for the audience, they just gave the computer a voice. I thought that was clever. I
was really scared how they were going to do that. And I loved the way they did it.
Yeah.
At first, I was really worried that they weren't going to do Rocky's voice justice, like with the amount of music. Like the first sounds we hear him make, I was like, that's not what I imagined at all. That's not it. It's literally depicted in the printed book as music notes. And we just get this like chittering sound, and I'm like, oh no. Like I tensed up a little bit, and then when he started freaking out a little bit, pointing at the thing, I was like, there's the voice. And I know they did it differently than they do in the audiobook, which I haven't listened to, but I've heard that
I haven't heard the audiobook, yeah.
I've heard that the way they do it in the audiobook is you hear like the musical tones. I might be wrong. You hear the musical tones, and eventually it starts to overlay a voice as he learns the translation, and then it just goes into Rocky's voice with like the musical stuff behind it. I haven't listened to it, but I thought they'd do something like that. I like that they gave him the translation, because I mean, in the book he does have the translator.
Yeah, the translator is
and
spot on.
He always has it sitting there, and he just starts to pick up on the tones, and references the translator as needed until he just picks it up. But I like the way they did it. I think it worked very well for the movie version. Fun
fact I just saw like right before we saw the movie, the way they picked the voice for Rocky was that it was actually just the voice of the puppeteer for Rocky that they used when he was shooting his scenes, and they just had good chemistry, so they're like, hey, why don't you do the voice?
I was going to ask who voiced Rocky.
Nice.
Because I was like, of all the voices to land on, that's not what I imagined.
That's not what I imagined either, but it worked
so well.
Yeah.
I wish they had made it clearer how much smarter Rocky is.
Yeah.
Like, and how much dumber humans are compared to the Iridians. Like, they did a good job balancing it between, there are these spots where Rocky's like, are you dumb?
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, Rocky's super smart because he's sending over this Xenonite stuff of the whole solar system. Like, we get that Rocky is a smart being, but in the book, it is just astronomically different how advanced the Iridians are in so many things compared to humans, and vice versa, which they did mention. Like, Iridians know nothing about the radiation and astrophage and all this. Like, they don't know. But their whole existence is just so far advanced in engineering. Compared to humans. So, like, there's a much bigger difference than it seems like in the movie, but also, how are they going to describe that in a different way than they did? Like, I agree with what Jason said, that I understand every choice that was made to slightly change things for the cinematic version of it. And I agree with all of the changes that they made. I wish we could have a 40-hour movie of every detail in the book. Like, But I agree, and I like all the changes that they made, and I understand why they did them.
Yeah.
I wish they had made it seem like Rocky was smarter.
Yeah.
So one of my things I was worried about was them changing Dr. Grace's involvement as an astronaut, rather than him being kidnapped and sent on the ship, as because he didn't want to go, that he was going to volunteer to go, and I was very afraid that they were going to change that. What did you think of him not wanting to go and not being the hero to go? Like, when they started getting to the point, like, oh, we're going to have to send the doc, you know, and his reaction to it. What did you think about all that? Did that go in a different direction than you were thinking? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, coming from the beginning of the movie where he didn't know what was going on, and like some weird deep space sleep.
So I will, to that point, in the books, he tries to explain to himself as, oh, because of this long journey, I'm sure the sedative they put us under just caused memory loss. So that's how he was explaining it to himself.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, I get it. Like the whole thing. And I was thinking to myself, like, as it was happening, I was like, what would be the timeline? Or like, no one really said what the timeline was of resurfacing another biologist. But he was right there. And it was like, and like, why wouldn't you go? But I get why you wouldn't, because you're sacrificing yourself for the better good, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I saw it coming, but also it was a surprise. Yeah.
It didn't hit me as hard in the movie.
Well, they
didn't have as big impact.
They took out the reason why he specifically had to go, because there were other biologists that could have been trained in astrophage and stuff. But in the book, there are people that it's like, what is it, 7% of the world's population has a gene that makes them more resistant to, or that means that they'll fare better in that long-term coma.
No, it wasn't fare better. Everybody else would die.
Yeah.
And they had a chance.
Yeah, their genes allowed them to do the deep space cryo sleep.
Yeah.
And so he just, it turns out, they don't release this, they don't tell you till later in the book, that he's actually one of the genetic matches.
So it's like, out of 7% of the entire world's population, you get the scientists in that tiny little pool that could fit that. And then they had 3 days, and they would have to go and test everyone and find someone and then brief them on astrophage. And they had already, like, I think, taken his blood for something. I don't remember what it was, how they figured it out.
Oh, and that circles back around to Stratt and how kind of diabolical she is. In the book, she was like, I knew all along that you were Matt.
She was planning on him being, like, he was the backup
secondary plan. Yeah.
He was the backup, and then it explodes, and it's not a choice for him, which it isn't in the movie either, but it was not a choice in a different way. Like, he still thinks they're looking for these people, and okay, we've got to test everyone, and we'll have this pool, and then we'll get this many backups, and she's like, no, you're going.
Yeah. It was more like, we can't take that chance. You're it.
Like, you are the backup, which she said.
Yeah.
but it was still kind of a choice. And she did give him, like, you've got 3 hours to think about it. But it was much more dire than just, we don't have time. It was, we don't have time and we don't have people to go. And even if we did, nobody would be as qualified as him.
Yeah. So I think just a big part of it for me was there might have actually been a little bit too much showing and not telling. Like, you didn't really understand where his 4 missiles were going at the end.
But they showed you at the end.
I guess.
They mentioned it once very early on, and I don't know, it lost a little bit of the humor of them being called John, George, Paul, and Ringo.
Because they called them the Beatles. Like, they were Beatles.
But they never said it out loud in the movie. They had it written behind it.
Like, I think that's kind of tying back to the movie, or the book.
They were doing it. We can't, you're right. We would not be able to do it.
There were tons of Easter eggs.
Tons.
If you read the book.
But not even really Easter eggs, because, like, it was a part of the book. And I kind of wonder if they relied too heavily on the Easter eggs to get all of the story across.
I don't know. I mean, Christian, you said you were there.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'd say, like, is it necessary for us to know that they're called Beatles?
Right. You didn't.
And like Cynthia said, they mentioned it that it was going to go back to Earth for their research.
That's true.
So it's like, oh, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then they show that they got it.
Yeah, they show that they got
watching the video.
Yeah.
The thing I wish they had put more detail into is there was only like one time where they actually mentioned the timing of everything. Like, clearly Stratt is older at the end. Clearly Earth is in an ice age. And it mentioned at the beginning when he woke up that he was like 11 point something light year. It would take him 11 years to get back to Earth. But in the book, doesn't it also talk about like he talks about how the Iridians don't know theory of relativity and how time would be different when he got back. And I don't know. I wish they had done a little bit more with that, just for clarity's sake of, like, this was a suicide mission. By the time he got back, his students would have been adults.
Yeah.
Which he knows.
Yeah, that's true. They really didn't put enough gravitas on just how much he was sacrificing, because it would have been a long time to get home.
Like, it wouldn't have been 22 years if he had gone for 11 and come back for 11 his time.
Yeah.
It would not have been 22 years.
And wasn't it 13 years in the book?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Anyway.
I don't know. But it would have been a lot longer. Like, I want to say 40-something years, and I'm probably making that up.
Like, I feel like the movie just kind of made it seem like, oh, well, he likes the rock guy, so I'm going to go hang out with the rock guy for the rest of my life. It didn't really seem like he was kind of forced into that decision. I don't know. I feel like it just, him ending up on Iridia, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it had more weight in the book.
I'd say for
where he ended up.
For me, that all panned out in the way of Rocky not knowing about the time change or how it would affect him about going back. Him wanting him to send him home felt like, oh, wow. He doesn't understand, but he still wants to do that for him.
Sure.
And then his choice to go back was also kind of heartbreaking too, because it was just like, it's gonna be really weird being back on Earth. I might as well spend it out here in space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like an emotional thing for me, not knowing any of that.
Sure.
So the way they did that the way they did that was, I guess, a little bit different for me.
Okay.
That was actually one of the beats I was hoping that they'd not change, which they didn't. They kind of did. I was afraid that they'd send him home. To wrap up the story nicely instead of sending him to the other planet. And actually in the book, I guess we can't talk about it without talking about the book. In the book, he's actually older too. He's an old man in the book.
Okay.
And he's like limping. He's got a cane. And so he's not just a young guy anymore. So he's been there for a while. And the travel took a while. But what you didn't get in the book was what happened back on Earth. Like you
That's
did
true.
not get that. So
That
you
is
were left
Yes.
wondering.
true.
And when I read the book, I was like, God, I wish I knew what happened back on Earth. But then I was like, no, this is a good decision because there's so many things that could affect what was happening on Earth
Mm-hmm.
that would be a whole other book.
Mhm.
So no, that's
Andy
a good
Weir,
way to
get
go.
on it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a way of knowing if Earth would even still be there.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, in the movie at the very end, when he's talking to Rocky on the beach and Rocky keeps slipping on the sand, it was so cute. And Rocky mentions, like, the Hail Mary's about to be ready to go home. Do you want to go? Did that happen in the book?
I think
it did.
I think
Did
there
it?
was they were getting to an option where they could. And they said that they were able to see something from Earth. Like there was some they were able to see the light or something that there's
saw
like
the-
13 years, whatever. And they were like, yes, Earth is still there. So they got the message.
They saw, like,
Yeah.
the Petrova line disappear.
Something
or
like that.
something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So
They
anyway,
saw that it got back successfully.
so he knew he was successful and that was it. So
Yeah.
but those are the major plot points I was really hoping that they'd hit, and they kept them, and I was very pleased with that.
Yeah.
So
I think one last thing was that I just wanted to talk about. So obviously when the movie really took it up a notch in terms of
bam,
entertainment when he finally interacted with Rocky. Because like
Mhm.
the Grace and Rocky dynamic, that's really what the heart of the book is all about. And so him getting his voice through the computer, that was a nice surprise, but well done. So a lot of the dialogue between Rocky and Grace is with Rocky's computer voice, and occasionally he would use his natural singing voice. But when they're coming back from Adrian?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And everything starts, going to crap and Grace gets knocked out. They have a tone shift with Rocky because he no longer has his computer voice, and they're using his natural voice to get across just how dire things are. Because like you can hear the emotion just through the music in his voice, and you can tell just how like he doesn't have facial expressions. He just has the tone of song in his voice, and I think that did that really, really well.
Mhm.
Built upon the giants of R2D2 and BB-8.
Thought you would somehow tie it into Star Wars for us. Thank you.
No problem. Did what I could.
The thing I do want to go back to that we mentioned that we were going to come back to was the character change of Stratt.
Yeah, let's end it on that one. That's
because not only did they make her less cold, which I get why they did it for the end of the movie, like you said, to make that decision seem a little more palatable, I guess. But they added an entire implied romance part.
I didn't see that.
a big one. I feel like it got close to it because I thought this,
Like,
on the boat when they were outside.
Yeah, and like it wasn't
At
a
the bar
like,
scene.
oh, they've got a thing for each other. It was just like it showed her humanity, but
No, I mean, I was like, are they about to introduce a romance thing? But they never.
and they
went-
never did.
No.
Which is good. I think they just did that to like give her a more human side, but I feel like it was unnecessary with the amount of humanity they had already given her
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to the book.
Sure.
For the movie, I think it fit. If you're just watching it as a movie, not having read the book, I think it fit the characterization that they created, but it was vastly different than her character in the book.
Did she do karaoke in the book?
Nope.
No.
That bar scene is completely for the book, for the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be like the one thing they like truly added.
In. And they had
Hmm.
nods to some things, like the two people that he was watching and he made eye contact and then he was like, and looked away. Those are the people in the book where one of them is just like, I feel
Oh,
like I
yeah.
need to let you know that we have engaged in a sexual relationship. And Stratt's like, okay. Like, I like that it was implied, if you have read the book to know that, but I don't think they needed.
I really loved the karaoke scene because she was singing, and it was a big thing for her to be from Eastern Germany. Because then she was like, "Oh, that is it.
Yeah.
This is done."
I like that. Yeah, That was a good way.
And that's enough.
I enjoyed that.
I guess to me, that in the book, she was all business. She was all, there's a job to be done. There's no time for fun. We're on the clock here. We have to focus on the mission. And so the fact that they allowed in the movie for her to have time to sing karaoke and have silly banter with Grace, that felt wrong.
Like they've put him on like 3 different planes and several boats and a submarine, I think, at one point. Like they are shipping him all over the world. And I'm glad they didn't do that in the movie. Like there's only so many times you can watch him get off a plane and barf. But like it really did seem like they just kind of picked him up and they were like, okay, we're here now, and everything just jumped into it. There wasn't like a, can I settle into this? It was just, let's do it. Which, again, I get.
I feel like the calmness of her made her decision later one of those like natural like movie gasp moments. Because you're like, oh, they were having a nice conversation on the boat. She sang karaoke. Oh, she's coming down a little bit. Hey, bud, you're gonna go.
That okay, okay.
I like that too. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I read it. But I mean, her being a cold, hard, would have been really fun too.
I guess they just wanted to make her more redeeming because of that last scene where she's on the boat and it's like, oh, he did it. He came through. I can be happy about this.
Yeah. I made the right call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing that's lacking from the movie, and you pointed this out earlier, was the fleshing out of the characters, of the side characters, like the astronauts that were going to go up. There was a lot more in the book about them. They were actually they were almost full on characters. So when they died in the explosion with the astrophage, that hit harder in the book. And I'd say so. Ultimately, that's what was lost the most. And I'm a big character development person, so that makes sense for me. But yeah, otherwise, and back to my score, 4.5. It was an excellent movie. Definitely, it's one of those movies that I think that belongs on your collection. It belongs in your collection. If you haven't read the book, 100% go read it. It's a fast read too. It's not like we were talking about all the science in it, but it's broken down into layman's terms. Like it's the science is not hard to grasp.
Yeah. So Andy Weir, same guy that wrote The Martian. Yeah. Very similar style writing in that book to this one. It's very scientific written throughout it. It's like it's actually, you feel smart reading it and you can understand everything he's saying, even if you don't know science, which I don't. But he surrounds it all with humor and sarcasm and stuff like that. So it's funny to read while also feeling like a smart read. So highly recommend this if you have not read the book. But also, here's a question for you guys to end this on. Do you recommend reading the book before watching the movie?
Never.
Or do we think reading the book changes your perspective of the movie?
Okay, normally I would say no, don't read the book before you watch the movie if you're going to read the book. But I wouldn't want to see the movie first and then go read the book knowing what's going to happen. Yeah. I wouldn't want to experience the book knowing the ending, because there were moments in the book, like there were moments I laughed out loud. There were moments I put it down because I was too scared to keep reading because I was going to be sad. And then I wasn't. But like, it was such an emotional ride that I wouldn't want to have any inclination of what the ending could possibly be when I read it, because it is such a rich book. Yeah. Like
I would say read
the book.
I'd say this is probably my favorite book of all time.
Yeah.
I'll put it there. Like she knows my taste. Like this is sci-fi, space, disaster, adventure, my kind of book. Plus it has the humor thrown in. This is my favorite book of all time. I'm putting it out there. My favorite book of all time. So I was very much looking forward to this movie. I think just because of how much I loved the book, it was going to be impossible for me to love the movie just as much. So I think that's kind of a lot of where my 4 and not a 5 is coming from. But that said, the movie is great. It does the book justice, despite a few of the missing details and a lot of stuff they just had to cut simply because of the runtime.
What can you expect?
The bones are there.
The bones are there. Everything is there.
Big boned.
The big stuff is there. So
It's ribs, and a femur or two, maybe a tibia.
One patella.
and I'm sure we'll see some Rocky plushies in store shelves sometime soon.
No,
look out.
Full rock.
Oh, Lego's got a cool
They do.
Hail Mary set. It's
do.
on back order right now.
Yeah, it's
but,
was
but-
going to get it.
Yeah. Never gonna get it. Never. No. But anyway. Yeah,
Eat Sleep Nerd is a 4.5 out of 5 on Project Hail Mary. Now in theaters, we highly recommend. That means,
I thought it was 4.425.
4.425.
yeah, I rented it up.
No.
That's-
I rented up nowadays.
Okay.
Nope. 4.5.
Thumbs up.
So 4.5 thumbs up out of
Thumbs up.
5.
Right. If you watch the movie, you'll
Watch-
understand.
Amaze.
Yes.
Amazing.
Anyway. Yeah, thank you for joining me, guys.
Indeed.
If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. Oh, we went the opposite way that way. Oh, that sucks.
Is there a standard way to go?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Leave a like in this video. Please leave some comments down below. Keep them spoiler-free for this video. Please let us know what you thought about the film if you've seen it. Maybe if you've just read the book and you want to share some thoughts about the book, leave those in the comments down below. We're not going to discriminate. And also, please share us with your friends and family over on social media. That goes a long way into supporting this channel. And please don't forget, we have a shop.eatsleepnerd.com. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, pants, mugs, all that fun stuff. All different
Astronaut suits.
sizes.
Not see.
Sure.
Also,
Anyway, check that out.
also, upcoming, we have a special guest.
Special.
We're not going to ruin it now. We have a
Rocky?
special guest. No.
Oh.
Sorry. Not
Adrian.
Rocky. Or Adrian, for that matter. No. But yes, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned, especially for you Huntsville people.
Yes.
And all that said, sweetheart,
You.
where are you? 3 things nerds should be doing before they... Something Rocky.
For the space dive for astrophage.
Sure.
Eat. Sleep. Read Project Hail Mary. Go see the movie.
Fist my bum.
Bum. Nerd.
Amaze.
Amaze.